Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Betty Odumosu. If you're new here, you're seeing my face for the very first time. Yeah, I am Betty Odumosu, aka the Black Betty Butter, and I welcome you all to my channel. If you're an old-time subscriber, thank you for coming again. So in today's video, I will be sharing my sexual abuse experiences with you, the things I have learned from it, how it affected me, and just basically tell you the whole story of how it happened and things I have been able to learn from the experiences. I've shared this with a couple of people before, but I'm not sure if you watching this right now already know. So yeah, to start with, looking back, I think I was abused by four different people growing up, four different men growing up, and it's an experience that I don't know. I'll just say I just thank God so much for how everything has turned out. I do not feel any sort of hatred towards any of them, but I just believe that wherever they are, I pray that they've stopped doing what they did to me, to other people, and they are better people now. So starting off, the first person that abused me sexually would be this uncle that used to come to my house then. I was quite very young. I was below 10. I cannot exactly remember the age I was at that time, but I knew I was less than 10 because I was quite young. And this man would come to the house to come visit us, come visit my family. And whenever he came then, he would always say, "Oh, come and sit on my lap now. Come and sit on my lap." And me too, the innocent me, I'll just go. But I noticed that every time he came around and asked me to sit, he would always ask me to sit on his penis, and I would just be feeling, something is shocking me, but I was quite young at that time. I didn't really know that, oh, this was what this man was actually doing to me. I just felt like, okay, I was feeling something, but I couldn't really tell, and I did not even think of telling my mom or telling anybody. And this continued till I was beginning to realize that, wait, I don't even know how I got to know, but I just felt like this thing that this man was doing was wrong. And then I began to avoid going to meet him whenever I was around. I don't know if my parents noticed or they all just felt like, oh, she didn't want to sit with him anymore, but I just made sure that I was always not around him whenever I came, and that was how that one went. Then to the second person that actually abused me, this one was a neighbor. See, this brings me to the fact that most of the people that sexually abuse kids are people that are close. Like, it's close people, the closest people that actually do the most when it comes to this sexual abuse, sexual harassment thing. So this one, growing up in the barracks, like barrack life was like a communal life for me growing up, because all the kids, we were all familiar with each other. Parents could always leave their kids with other neighbors, like, oh, I'm going out, please watch after my kids, let them stay with you till I'm back, that kind of stuff. And so it happened that this particular one, my parents went to church and they kept us in care of this neighbor. And so, being the nice neighbor that she is now, everybody is one now, we're asked to go into their house to stay till our parents were back. So there was this guy that stayed in the house. He was quite older. I think at this point I think I already passed the age of 9 or so, because I was already quite conscious of my body and conscious of the environment as well. So this guy asked me to come loosen his braids for him. He was the kind of guy that used to braid his hair. So he asked me to come help him loosen it. Me too, joyfully with the other kids, I joined them to loosen it. And then after a while, it was not like, oh, let's go inside. We shouldn't loosen the hair outside again. Let's go inside the house. So while other kids were watching the TV in the living room, he took me along with him inside his room that we should go and continue loosening the hair. Naive me, I did not think that, oh, anything was wrong with that. And so When we got inside, this guy legit asked me to put my mouth on his penis. At that point here, I did not know that what he was asking me to do was to give him a blowjob. Fellatio, what they call it, fellatio. I didn't know, but I knew that a penis was what males used to pee. So I felt like, this is so wrong. Why should I put my mouth in your penis, or you put your mouth in your penis in my mouth? Like, it just felt so wrong. And I think he sensed that, oh, this girl knows what I want her to do. And then he tried forcing me to do. It was a serious struggle. Till today, I do not know why I did not decide to like scream or shout. Both of us just started struggling with it, and in the whole process it was dropping. And I saved, like, thinking about it now, that thing was big. Ew, jeez. Like, you've literally rubbed it all over my face, you know, while trying to like get me to put my mouth on it. It was just a struggle. But at the end of the day, I was able to escape and just run out of the room. And the innocent me, oh my god, I remember vividly this day. Like, I went into the house, I went to the bathroom, I took soap. All my mind was, I need to wash my face, I need to get this thing off my face. I felt so sad, and it just felt really disgusting that, oh, this guy tried to do this to me. Till today, I don't think, I did not tell my parents about it. I don't know why. I think growing up, I was a child that just liked to keep certain things to herself. And not to say that my parents, you know, like, were not good people, but I feel like they could have, you know, done. Maybe I'll just talk about that later, and the things that I've learned from this whole experience. So I washed my face and I felt so bad, and since that day I just didn't like him. I just hated him. I was like, why would you do such a thing to me? And the memory is still always fresh in my head when I think about it. I'm like, ah, God, this is so evil for you to try to do that to a kid. And then the third person, like I said, it's always people close to you that do these things the most. The third person too was a family friend. This one, an Asabi guy, like somebody that was always coming to our house. He was a friend of the family, just like the first uncle. This one too used to come to the house, you know, play with us, buy stuff for us, bring movies for us to see. He was a family guy. He also, one night while still doing the family guy duties, came around, was gisting with us, playing with us. And then I think that day my siblings left. I can't really even remember the whole other things that happened that night, but what I remember vividly was that my parents were in their room and I was just alone in the living room with this man. And the next thing is, he also doing similar thing that the first uncle used to do to me. And it was just so me, I was just feeling like it felt like they were playing back what was happening, what happened with the first uncle. And I was just like, what is this, what is this? And then I left. I just left. And that's the only thing I can remember. But I don't also remember whether I told my mom or not. But I just know that the thing stayed in my head. And I was just like, I was now asking myself, what is this now? What did I, like, I was just trying to know why all of these things were happening to me. Like, was it that something was wrong with me? Was I the one attracting them? Okay, so this fourth one was also another neighbor. This time around, we had moved from where we used to stay to another part of the barracks. And then this one, I think I was already 11, 12 old. Yes, I was in TS1 at the time, so I already knew. We had been taught a lot about puberty. We've been taught about you know, sexual harassment, sexual abuse, all of these things. We've been taught about it, so I already knew what all these things were about. And so I just noticed that this man began to make certain comments about my body whenever he saw me outside in the house. He would make certain comments about my body that didn't sit well with me, but then I'll just, you know, overlook it, to not say anything. Like, you know, I don't know. And then one day my dad came back. I think my dad was posted out at this point he wasn't staying with us. So one of these days he came back to where we were, and we are just so happy. I think we're celebrating a promotion or so at that time. I cannot remember vividly, but we're sharing things, and young like we're in the celebratory mode. And then I was asked to go give him his own part of what we were distributing and sharing to people in the compound. So my mom asked me to go give it to him. At this point, my mom didn't even know that, oh, anything was going on between me and him. There was nothing going on, but the fact that those his comments, those things he said about me, they were signs already. I could already tell that they were signs. And I think the mistake I made that day was not saying no, that I wasn't going to go and give it to him. So I went to give it to him, what they asked me to go give him, and he was like, oh no, I should go and drop it in his room, since I knew that it was with people outside. Mistake number 2 from my side. Why didn't I decline and just drop it with him? Me too, I carried my big head to go and drop it in his room. And then on my way out, I just dropped it and came, because I already knew the kind of person that I was. All I went to do in his room was drop it and leave. But unfortunately for me, not knowing that he had other plans that day, I met him on my way out, and the next thing was he pushed me in and then asked me, no, he didn't ask me anything. He pushed me in and I was like, I need to go, just let me go. I already dropped what I was sent to come and drop. And the next thing this guy did was to push me, and next thing I saw, this man was already on top of me. Jesus. Another thing for me, why didn't I shout? Why didn't I scream? Like, it now became a struggle. It was a real struggle to get myself. But I just thank God for strength, and at the end of the day, I was able to like escape from his room. And I was just feeling so tense that day. I felt so bad. I felt a lot of emotions were just running through my veins that day. I was like, through my mind rather. I was just so in complete, like I was in a confused state of mind. I didn't even know what to do. See, immediately I came out from that room that night, I was just playing a lot of what is in my head. And then the whole thing began. That last incident, that one with him, just began to make me play back all the previous experiences I have had, and I began to question myself. I began to feel guilty. I began to feel like I was the worst person on earth. It's still funny how I was the victim, but yet I was the one feeling bad, feeling guilty. It got to a point that even whenever I went to church, then I was always feeling bad. There was a time they were doing this Holy Communion in church, Lord's Supper, and I refused to take it. My reason was because I felt like I had committed a sin with that guy that night, and he pushed me onto his bed that day. Mind you, I didn't even stay there. The guy stayed in a one-room apartment in the barrack. He stayed in a one-room apartment, which was why he was able to push me to his bed that day. So I began to feel very guilty. It still baffles me, like, you were the victim, but yet you're the one feeling bad, you're the one feeling guilty. It tainted my self-esteem too, because I began to feel less of myself. I began to feel like I had already been tampered with. I felt like my innocence had been taken away from me. Even though not like any one of them had intercourse with me, but I felt tampered with. I felt like I had been used. I felt like, no, I was not the same anymore. And till I grew older to know better, I kept feeling that way. I kept feeling bad. I kept feeling like something was wrong with me for all of those things to have happened to me. And the most annoying of all these things was the day I met the 4th man. I met him a few years later, like a few years after that incident. He moved out from where we were, the vicinity that we were, and we saw outside. I think at this time I was already like 18, 19. And this guy saw me. At this point, I did not even want to have anything to do with him. I had forgiven every one of them for what they did to me, but I just didn't want to have anything to do with them. And this guy had the effrontery. He had the effrontery to come and meet me and was like, oh, why wasn't I greeting him? And in my head, I'm like, do you want us to create a scene in this place? Like, how? With what you did, you actually have the mind to be coming to meet me to tell me that, oh, why wasn't I greeting you? And the whole situation, looking at everything now, I just believe that a lot of things could have been done better to actually avoid everything that happened to me. Like I said, I'm not blaming my parents. But I believe that they could have done certain things better. Talk of, say, giving us proper education, sex education and all of that earlier. And also, on my part, I feel like I could have opened up. I should have opened up and, you know, not just bottle things up to myself. I feel if I had spoken up earlier, probably the second, third and fourth time wouldn't have happened. Yeah, at least my parents would have known what to do to protect me from such things. But you know, the whole situation has taught me to know that, see, there are wicked people everywhere. Wicked people are everywhere. No matter how, I'm sure my parents now, they believe, and I know they have done their best in raising me and my siblings to be good people, but it doesn't mean that wicked people or bad people would not approach us. So if you're a good person, doesn't mean that bad people would not come to you. The whole experience has also taught me that most times it's the people that are closest to you that do the worst things to you. Because all of these experiences that I've had with sexual abuse did not come from strangers, did not come from people that I was not familiar with. It came from people that were close, people that knew me, people that I called family in quotes. Which is why I made up my mind, if I ever have a female child, all those come and sit on my leg, come and do this one, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. And so if you're watching this right now and you've been through one form of sexual abuse, harassment or the other, please note that you are not alone. You are not alone. There are so many people like you also that are going through the same. Even guys, I believe and I know that male kids also get abused and harassed also. Male kids also get abused and harassed. So you are not alone. If you are... Oh, before I even forget, Seth, another thing that I wanted to say is that it takes the grace of God for you to heal past all of these things. Because ideally, right now, I'm supposed to be boiling with hatred for every single one of them that abused me. But, you know, just talking to God and asking Him for grace to actually help me heal has been one of the best things that I have done so far. Because if not for the grace of God and the healing of God, I think right now I would probably be thinking of how I can revenge and probably do one evil thing or the other to all of these people. Only God knows how they have turned out to be now. Only God knows. So yeah, it takes grace of God too. If you've been through a form of abuse, it's very okay for you to talk to people. Confide in people that you trust and you know that will be able to find help for you. Yeah. And another thing for you to do is to pray, just like I did. You need to pray to God, because you are human. It's only natural for you to want to feel vengeful and also hatred towards those people. But if you pray to God for help, He will definitely help you. And also confide in people that can help you, you know, if you need, because I think bottling up those emotions, bottling up everything that you feel is one of the things that would not even help you let go, and to just make the pain remain there for a very longer time. Because of course the pain will be there, especially if you have been raped or, you know, any form of abuse. Technically any form of abuse, basically, rather, it's definitely going to make you feel spiteful. But if you're able to share how you feel and just share with someone that can help you find help, or that can also help you, heal through that process, it will be very, very good for you. To be very, very good for you, because the more you hold on to it, the more it makes you feel worse. So you need to pray, and you also need to find help. Your help can be from talking to someone, it can be from reading books that can help you get better, it can come from learning to let go of everything that has happened to you. And another thing, please and please, if you the signs are always there. The signs are always there. If from a potential abuser, the signs are there. The moment you see the signs, do not neglect those signs. I think that's one of the mistakes that I made as a person, because the signs were there from the comments he was making. I should have known better to avoid being alone in a secluded place with my abuser. Yeah. So if you are in a situation where you're already seeing the signs, do well to nip it in the bud before it gets out of hand. It is for you to report such a person to a higher authority, or for you to leave that environment. Please do whatever it will take for you to be safe from such a person. Please do it. So do not neglect the signs at all. That is also very important. And also, do not hide the person. I think it's still the same with what I've said before. Do not hide the person. If you see that this person is an abuser, report such a person to protect other people from him, because you don't even know who his next victim might be, or our next victim might be, because like I said, males also get abused. So I do hope that you have been able to learn a thing or two from my story, and I hope that it will help you make better decisions in this life, just to avoid going through what I went through, because everything I have said in like last couple of minutes cannot sum up the pain and the whole trauma of the experiences that I went through. Like I said, God's grace and help has helped me overcome everything that I went through. But then you do not have to go through it too. That is why people sharing their experiences is an eye-opener and a way for you to avoid making the mistakes that they have made. I do hope you learned a thing or two from my video. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel and like and comment what you think. If you have had similar experiences, share with me also. I'll be glad and willing to read and help you in any way that I can. Until next week, see you in my next video. Bye bye.
You're the night sky trying to make me see your stars. The